Prince Andrew has been reported to the British police over alleged crimes in London. In other words, that alleged incident where he was accused of having underage sex with someone at the home of Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, the police have investigated this before and said, we don't think there's a case here. I would suggest that over the last couple of days, the Epstein files must have increased the pressure on the police to actually start investigating this guy. And if they've got the time and the inclination to investigate war crimes in Gaza, surely there is much more reason to investigate Prince Andrew, where there is clear evidence to suggest an investigation is called for.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a calls for police to investigate both sides of the pond, like he's going to get on an aeroplane and be picked up by the FBI on landing in America. That would be a great look for the royal family, wouldn't it? But you have to say, you know, even if these are very historic allegations, which would make them very difficult to investigate, given that, you know, one of the perpetrators is dead, it's important to do so, I would say, however much shame that might bring the royal family. I mean, how much more shame can he bring? Because it's not right to brush such allegations under the carpet. But, it's very difficult for the royal family, very difficult for Andrew, but who cares about him, quite frankly? So how this will now play out, I really don't know. I'd imagine the Met Police might be minded.
Well, they've got definite new evidence to at least inquire into. Prince Andrew is mentioned 76 times in these 950 pages of documents, which revealed 187 VIP names, you know, who had associations with Epstein. There's no suggestion just because you knew Jeffrey Epstein that you're a criminal or you did anything wrong. But in Andrew's case, it is definitely worth investigating, in my view, because, you know, this guy's accused of underage sex, he's accused of an orgy in the Caribbean, and so on and so forth. And I think that this would do the royal family and King Charles a big favour, because the Prince Andrew, in terms of the royal family, the Prince Andrew boil needs to be lanced.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because the people who actually filed the report to the police who want Andrew investigated are an anti-monarchy campaign group, so they clearly don't think it's going to help the royal family. But you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether something is historic or current. If you've been accused of such grave offences, which frankly this is, if you're using trafficked women for underage sex, then it does need to be looked into.
Yeah, you know, they could,
at the very least, to clear the man if he didn't do anything.
Look, the police, you know how woke the Met Police are and everything. They, well, you know, if you're a rape victim, we'll move heaven and earth to investigate to try and get you justice. Well, there's a woman now who was a child when she says that Prince Andrew had sex with her against her will in London. Now, if you are so woke and you want to investigate all rapes, then this alleged rape has to be investigated by the British police. I think the pressure is really on them now.
And it would be a terrible message to send, to say, well, look, if you're a person of certain standing, or if it might bring embarrassment to an institution, if you're in a position of power and influence, then actually all, you know, the downsides of investigating you outweigh actually following the path of justice. That cannot be a message, because this is often what happens, isn't it? When you look at all of these sort of, you know, very influential, high-profile abusers throughout history, they have used their status to get away with things, and it is not right.
And by the way, before Christmas, you remember we asked on Crosstalk, you know, should King Charles allow Andrew to join the family as they walk down that very public pathway to the church on Christmas Day. And we got mixed opinions. Some people said, well, he's a member of the family, he should go. Others said, no, this guy needs to be exorcised from royal life. The king, of course, not exactly a man full of backbone, allowed his brother to come along. And I think that was a mistake. I think, you know, if this guy is not going to be in frontline duties, then we have to literally get rid of him and never see him again.
Worth pointing out as well, another element to this story is the fact that Virginia Giuffre has claimed that Bill Clinton marched into the offices of Vanity Fair and demanded the magazine halt a planned publication of a story about Jeffrey Epstein. So that's exactly what I'm saying. When people in positions of power and influence, they think that they can get away with everything.
Yeah, Bill Clinton's not having a happy time either. He's mentioned, I think it's 26 times or something in these documents. So we'll be covering this story in depth later on